Spider-Man Web of Shadows. It's the game that every Spidey fan takes to Twitter to say it's a god tier Spider-Man game, that there's nothing like it, that it's super underrated. Yeah, I don't know about that. I played better. Damn, the video just started and I'm already shitting on the game. Fuck, I chose violence today. Look, I don't hate Web of Shadows. That's far from my perspective of the game. Trust me, I have no nostalgia towards this game whatsoever. I didn't grow up playing it, I only grew up wanting it. I said it countless times before, I actually never grew up with the 7th generation console growing up, especially at its peak. But I did own a Nintendo Wii and I knew the game was on there since I walked into a GameStop and saw the game cover art there, bring it up to the counter only for them not to have it at all. That was when I was 9 years old. Fast forward to 2017 and I'm doing my crazy collecting hunting. Find the same game on the Nintendo Wii, same box art, same everything. Gonna redeem myself from my 9-year-old fuck up, bring it up to the counter, only for them not to have it. Again. The funny thing is that he didn't even let me keep the box art. The motherfucker just threw it in the trash. Oh, and trust me dog, I tried getting it. And I have that? Fuck you. God fucking forbid I got this game. Fast forward to 2019, my senior year. Somebody actually donated a copy to me, and this was the first time I ever actually got to try the game. I was not impressed at all. Fucking suck! The game is fine, there's nothing really wrong with it, but I just found the level structure to be wonky, the story was kind of weird, and the overall art style is just not my favorite. I mean, to be fairly honest, it's not the game's fault. A lot of 360 era games look like fucking garbage. Again, violence. I don't even like video games. But what if I were to tell you that I actually really loved this game and that I had tons of nostalgia for it and I loved the living hell out of it growing up and played it countless times growing up? Because it did happen. Just not this version of this game. Spider-Man Web of Shadows on the Nintendo DS is the more superior version of Spider-Man Web of Shadows. And I'm dead fucking serious. So I actually owned the DS growing up, so I had to settle for what I got. A Metroidvania Spider-Man game. Did I know what that meant back in the day? No. Do I know what it is now? Yes. As a fairly new fan to the Metroid franchise, it's crazy to think that my favorite superhero took this gameplay approach. Man, I would be lying if I told you it doesn't work as well as it does. Developed by a small company named Kryptonite, they usually specialize in handheld titles just like this one, and this one, and this one. Yeah, they were around in the early 2000s for a good amount of these licensed video game handheld conversions. But out of all the games they developed, this game is straight up a banger. Like I mentioned earlier, this game takes the formula of a Metroidvania. What does that specifically mean? What's in the fucking name? The game will have you go around in an open world hub with tons of areas that are inaccessible, which forces the player to explore and backtrack into areas where you unlock certain abilities that allow you to proceed to the next area. The game's Metroid-like exploration is not as complex as the other Metroidvanias out there, but it does at least take the basic fundamentals of it and makes it work in a fun way. Jesus Christ, I sound like a fucking nerd. The story of the game is almost like its console counterpart. It's obviously not as fleshed out due to the size of the game being scaled down to just the DS cartridge. Spidey notices that there's a huge symbiotic invasion and has no idea why or how, since he knows that Venom isn't normally allowed to reproduce. I mean, why not let my boy fuck? So Spider-Man ends up on the ultimate quest to hunt down Venom for answers, and when he does, finds out there's a symbiotic king that's controlling the invasion. He beat the living shit out of him and the invasion is over. That's it. That's the story. It may sound short, but that's because you actually don't know how the actual story progresses until you find a new area or fight a new boss. It's cut up into segments with set dialogue pieces whenever you reach an important part of the area.
Venom's not at home. That usually means he's lurking around the sewers. Superhero 101. Bad guys love to lurk in sewers.
Speaking of dialogue, they actually brought over the same voice actor to read the unique script pieces that is for the version of this game. And I know what you're thinking, that's caca. Mike Vaughn's Spider-Man was awful. His voice as Spidey was like nails on a chalkboard. Spider-Man sounds like a straight bitch. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with you. I don't think his portrayal as the wall crawler is bad by any means. Yeah, it can be a bit eerie from time to time, but it's not fucking Drake Bell. Although I can confidently say I enjoy his performance in this game a whole lot more than I do in this console version. The dialogue is actually well written, and Spidey's jokes and the way he delivers them just feels very Spider-Man. Fuck, I pulled an IGN.
Come back! I just want to talk! And maybe punch you! And kick you! Just a little!
No, seriously, there's something weird about how he speaks in this game, how he actually interacts with the other characters and quips after mopping the floor with a bunch of symbiotic zombies and makes it quite enjoyable. I can't fucking breathe.
The bigger they are, the harder they hit me, actually. Oh, my spleen did not appreciate any of what just happened. Still, bad guys down. Yay me!
Shout out to Mike's performance in this one. It's actually pretty good. I just can't take him seriously. Every time Spidey croaks, it just sounds like he came. So what makes this game really good? Can it be the beautiful crafted environments with the surprisingly nice details, its cool atmospheric music that's unique to every new area, or the super sick combos? The combat is what really shines in this game. Like, I'm a big fan of flashy extended combos, that's why I love Marvel so much. But once it's implemented in a side scroller just like this, bro, give it to me. Oh, Spider-Man doesn't need a blaster or some pussy shit to deal with the hordes of enemies. It's all puro vergazos. The game starts you off with a basic set of combos. Every time you defeat an enemy, you receive a set of currency. Set currency can actually help you unlock new moves and combo extenders to streak up your attacks. But you'd have to choose wisely because you do have to split the combo purchases between two suits. Just like in the console version, the game actually allows you to switch the regular blue and red to black suit Spider-Man on the fly. Each suit has a different moveset and agility that can change depending on the current suit you're rocking. Red suit Spidey's on the weaker side, but is a little crackhead when it comes to pulling off combos. Quite the opposite with black suit Spidey, with him being slower, but his offensive power being substantially higher. Red suit Spider-Man has the agility to use his web grapple to perform longer combos, and web zip through the enemies and the environment. The action is replaced with a dash attack and ground pound when using symbiote Spidey. There's a set of combo strings to unlock for each suit. But the super sick thing about it is that you can change suit mid-combo and pull off some nasty-ass OTG combos. Personally, I never used the black suit to perform combos since I find the OG red and blue suit to be more satisfying to rack up combos with, especially when you got my man's decked the fuck up. This kick stomp, rolling drill kick, and web grab are seriously the most addicting attacks to perform. I can do this throughout the whole playthrough and never get tired of it. I'm not that great at the combat since I've gotten a little bit slow at video games since my childhood, but honestly I have some crazy muscle memory embedded into my brain every time I play this game. I can be like 75 and still remember how to do this fucking grapple combo. What's also great about this combat system is that there's a DMC-like combo meter that you can build up while chaining up crazy combos. So at the meter's absolute peak, the purple orbs become way bigger once you defeat an enemy, meaning you can earn more currency for the combat store. Did I mention there's a Street Fighter-like training room to practice your combos? What's even crazier about this combat is that people have mastered this shit. Seeing a speedrun for this game is like a whole other level, bro. People can really pull off some crazy corner combos and godlike combos. This combat didn't have to go this hard for just a DS title, straight up. For the most part, you can skip environments until you reach an area that blocks you off entirely and forces you to engage in combat. But I always find myself engaging with the combat every time I find a new area in the game, because it's so damn addicting. This gameplay loop is personally some of my favorite. Technically it can be considered repetitive, but it's always fun to fight everything in your way. Cast of hero and villains in this version is lacking compared to the other titles. No Luke Cage, no Wolverine, no Electro, no Kingpin. It's all just cut down to Black Cat, Green Goblin, and Nightcrawler. I don't know, having Nightcrawler over something like Wolverine for the game seems like an odd choice. Homie's in the game for a small gameplay mechanic, but that's only exclusive to boss battles. Since it is a DS, the devs had to find a way to use the console's gimmick in some way. You'll use the touchscreen to interact with the small minigame to gain health back whenever you lose a life. Touchscreen is also used during boss battles to bring certain characters to perform an attack. Somewhere in the story, you'll meet with Black Cat and she'll give you an option to help Green Goblin or Nightcrawler. Choosing one of them will allow you to unlock them for a special attack that's only accessible during a boss fight. Straight up though, I never helped Green Goblin when I owned this game as a kid. It just doesn't make any sense to do it because, you know, depending if you choose not to help Nightcrawler at all in your run, it actually alters the game's ending. This seems to be the game's attempt to go for your choice makes a difference in the story, just like in the console version, but other than this, it's the only attempt to do a mechanic such as this. It's really awkward too, because if you go through the whole Green Goblin route, Spidey's dialogue changes to more of a dark and edgy tone.
I don't much care what happens to Green Goblin, but his plan is going to take out some of these monsters, and all Nightcrawler is doing is helping people dumb enough to get in trouble.
Which is weird because the symbiotic tone is never used throughout the game, like at all. So it makes the dark ending just feel so fucking weird when Spidey just be talking like this throughout the whole game.
I'm so spectacular, I'm most amazing!
Overall, this game's great on the DS. The only big con that I can say is the game's fucking short. Such a great concept for a Spidey game, but does it end so quick, especially if you're familiar with the ins and outs of the game. Fortunately, there is a sequel that Kryptonite actually made that uses the Shattered Dimensions IP. No, I haven't tried it. No, I don't have time to make a video on it. Trust me. Oh shit, we reached the end. Well, I guess that's all I got for you guys for Spider-Man Web of Shadows on the DS, one of the only 2D adaptations of the game that we got to see in the light of day.
Yo, Johnny, there was actually another 2D Spider-Man game that you actually missed. Ever heard of the Super Allies Edition?
No.
It was a version of the game created exclusively for the PlayStation 2 hardware. The console had crazy power limitations, so the devs had to make room for a different version of the game to make it out.
No. Pugs. I don't need more shit in this video, bro. I already got enough on my plate as it is. I gotta edit this stuff.
Well, fuck you, you fucking dick. Whatever. I know your dumbass has this shit somewhere in your collection.
You wanna fucking bet on that?
Yes.
Oh, you motherfucker. No mames, bro. You're actually right.
Told you. Now you gotta play it.
Alright, you win. I'll go ahead and check it out, alright? I mean, shit, it's on PS2. They did an amazing job on fucking DS. I wonder what crazy shit they could have pulled off with this version. Alright, Spider-Man Web of Shadows on the PS2. What the fuck? No. What? No. What is that? What is that? Oh my god, this is a PS2? How did you get outperformed by a fucking DS, bro?